Colleen Hoover was born on December 11, 1979, in Sulphur Springs, Texas. Raised in a small town, she was the youngest of three children in a family that faced its own share of challenges. Hoover's early life was marked by a combination of adversity and love for literature. Growing up, she didn't have many material possessions, but she found solace in reading. Her family, particularly her mother, was a strong influence on her early development. Hoover's mother, an avid reader herself, encouraged her to pursue her interest in books, which planted the seeds for Hoover's future as a writer. Her family was close-knit, but like many families, they faced their struggles. Hoover's father had a turbulent history with substance abuse, and this impacted the family dynamic. Despite these challenges, Hoover's bond with her mother was a constant, and her mother's nurturing support helped Hoover develop the resilience that would later be reflected in her own character's journeys of overcoming hardship. Colleen attended high school in Sulphur Springs, where she was an average student. She didn't stand out for her academic performance, though she had a natural affinity for creative pursuits. Writing was something she did on the side, more as a personal hobby than a serious academic endeavor. She described herself as an introvert, spending much of her time reading and writing for her own enjoyment rather than for school assignments. She often wrote short stories and poetry, but they were never something she envisioned sharing with the world. In fact, it wasn't until much later that she began to see writing as a potential career. After high school, Hoover attended Texas A&M University Commerce, where she majored in social work. Her decision to pursue social work was rooted in her desire to help people who were struggling, especially those affected by issues like domestic abuse and addiction. Despite her interest in writing, Hoover put it aside to focus on her studies and work, all the while still consuming books voraciously. Her education would later influence the way she portrayed sensitive topics in her novels, especially in terms of emotional trauma, abuse, and healing. Though Colleen didn't immediately pursue writing as a career, she harbored an interest in storytelling from a young age. She was particularly drawn to authors who could craft complex emotions, such as Nicholas Sparks and Jodi Picoult. These authors' works resonated deeply with Hoover, sparking the idea that she, too, could write stories that evoked strong emotional reactions. As Hoover navigated her early adulthood, she worked in various jobs to make ends meet. However, writing remained a passion that simmered beneath the surface. She penned her first novel, Slammed, while balancing life as a mother and working full-time. At this point, writing wasn't seen as a potential career, but more as a personal outlet. It wasn't until she finished Slammed and self-published it in 2012 that she would realize how deeply her stories could connect with readers. Her early life was a combination of ordinary challenges and quiet aspirations that set the stage for her eventual literary career. Through her struggles and triumphs, she developed a resilience that would later define the characters she wrote. Characters who faced overwhelming odds yet found ways to overcome their struggles. Colleen Hoover's personal life has played a significant role in shaping her writing, and her family has been a source of constant support throughout her career. She married her husband, William Hoover, in 2000. William, who is a teacher, has been described by Colleen as a quiet yet solid support system throughout her writing journey. Together, they have 3 children, and Colleen has often spoken about how challenging it was to balance motherhood with writing, especially during the early stages when she was self-publishing her books. While William's job as an educator allowed Colleen to focus on her writing, it also meant that the family had to be frugal in their spending. They were not wealthy, and Colleen has admitted that, at one point, she struggled to pay the bills and juggle her responsibilities. She often found herself writing during the quiet moments of her day, late at night after her children were asleep or early in the morning before they woke up. This sense of commitment to her family, while still pursuing her passion for writing, is something that resonates in many of her novels, where characters often face the balancing act of love, career, and personal dreams. Her relationship with her children has also influenced her writing. Colleen has spoken about the powerful emotional connection she feels with her kids and how her experience as a mother has helped her create authentic emotional experiences in her characters. It's this connection to real-life love and sacrifice that gives her writing a sense of authenticity and emotional depth. Despite the challenges of being a working mother, Colleen has often emphasized that her family is her priority, and she credits her husband and children with much of her success. Like many successful authors, Colleen Hoover's path to success was not without its struggles. Before her breakthrough as a writer, she worked in various jobs, including as a social worker, which allowed her to connect with individuals facing trauma and emotional struggles. These experiences not only shaped her as a person, but also influenced the themes of her novels, which often revolve around overcoming personal hardship and emotional healing. In her early years as a writer, Hoover faced financial difficulties. Her decision to self-publish Slammed was driven in part by the need to make ends meet, but it also allowed her to express her creativity on her terms. When her first novel began to gain traction, it was a turning point, not just for her career but for her family life as well. While her success didn't happen overnight, it marked a profound shift. Colleen went from being a struggling, self-published author to a best-selling writer, and her family's financial struggles began to subside as her books started selling in large numbers. Despite her newfound success, Hoover has faced challenges in the spotlight, from managing the pressures of fame to dealing with personal and professional criticism. Her rise to prominence also brought with it a host of expectations, both from readers and from the industry. Hoover's candidness about her struggles with anxiety and stress has made her relatable to many readers who also grapple with mental health challenges. Her transparency about navigating difficult emotions, whether through the lens of her personal life or her characters, has endeared her to readers and created a strong bond with her fanbase. Her journey from financial struggle to literary success is one of resilience and determination. Hoover's ability to remain grounded despite her fame speaks volumes about her character. She has always emphasized that her family is the heart of her success, and she continues to prioritize them, even as she balances the demands of a successful writing career. Motherhood has been one of the most influential aspects of Colleen Hoover's life, both personally and professionally. Becoming a mother changed her perspective on life and on love, which in turn influenced how she writes relationships in her novels. Her children have also inspired some of her characters and storylines, reflecting the unconditional love and sacrifice that she feels in her own life. In her early days as a mother, Colleen was forced to juggle her responsibilities as a parent with her ambitions as a writer. Writing while raising young children was no small feat, but Hoover embraced the challenge, finding inspiration in her family life. The themes of resilience, love, and redemption that permeate her novels are a direct reflection of her own experiences navigating the complex, multifaceted role of being a mother and a writer. As her career took off, Colleen's children also began to experience the effects of her newfound fame. They have grown up with the unique experience of having a mother whose books are beloved by readers around the world. Despite the fame, Hoover has worked hard to keep her children grounded and to shield them from the negative aspects of her celebrity. She has always emphasized that, above all, she wants her children to grow up knowing that love and family are the most important things in life. Colleen Hoover's journey to becoming a writer was not an immediate one. While she always had an interest in literature and storytelling, it wasn't until much later in life that she decided to take the plunge and pursue writing seriously. Throughout her childhood and early adulthood, writing was primarily a hobby, a way to express her thoughts and emotions. She wrote poetry and short stories, but it was never something she considered as a potential career. Her earliest attempts at writing were part of her personal exploration of creativity. She often wrote for her own enjoyment, sharing some of her work with close friends and family, but never considering publishing it. Hoover has mentioned in interviews that, at one point, she considered writing a book, but self-doubt held her back. She felt that the writing world was closed off to those without formal training or experience in the literary field, so she kept her passion largely to herself. At the time, writing was more of an emotional outlet than a pursuit for public success. It wasn't until Hoover went through a period of personal struggle, both financially and emotionally, that she finally found the courage to write her first full-length novel. The decision to write professionally came as a form of self-therapy, a way to channel her emotions and gain some control over her life. This act of writing would ultimately set the stage for her future success. Colleen Hoover's breakthrough came in 2012 with the release of her debut novel, Slammed. At the time, traditional publishing routes seemed daunting, and Hoover was not sure she had the resources or connections to break into the competitive world of mainstream publishing. Instead, she made a bold decision to self-publish her work on Amazon, a choice that would later prove to be pivotal in her career. Slammed was born out of Hoover's desire to write something raw, emotional, and genuine. The story follows a young woman named Laken who moves to Michigan after her father's death and falls in love with a boy named Will, only to discover that their love faces numerous obstacles. The novel explores themes of loss, love, and emotional healing, subjects that Hoover was deeply familiar with due to her own personal experiences. The book was met with immediate success, propelled by positive word-of-mouth recommendations and early reviews from readers. While the book initially had modest sales, Hoover's strong connection with readers quickly became apparent. Her candid interactions with fans, her transparency about her struggles, and her authenticity all contributed to the novel's growing popularity. Slammed eventually became a bestseller, and Hoover's success as a self-published author skyrocketed. She continued to self-publish sequels and other works, including Point of Retreat, 2012, and This Girl, 2013, each of which garnered more attention and a larger following. Self-publishing allowed Hoover to retain creative control over her work, something she has often cited as a key reason for her success. It also gave her the ability to engage directly with her readers, which created a strong sense of community and loyalty. The success of Slammed marked the beginning of Hoover's writing career, and it helped set the stage for the future. While self-publishing had given Colleen Hoover the platform she needed, it was Hopeless, her second novel, that truly solidified her place in the literary world. Hopeless was published in 2012, only months after Slammed had taken off, and it introduced a new level of emotional depth to her writing. The story follows Skye, a teenage girl who is grappling with the trauma of her past and a complicated relationship with the boy she falls in love with, Dean Holder. The novel delves into dark themes of abuse, forgiveness, and the process of healing. Hopeless was met with critical acclaim and solidified Hoover's reputation for tackling difficult, emotionally charged subjects with nuance and sensitivity. The novel's themes resonated deeply with readers, particularly those who had gone through similar emotional experiences. This marked the beginning of a trend in Hoover's writing, where she would continually address sensitive topics like mental health, trauma, and complicated relationships. The success of Hopeless also helped Hoover expand her audience. The book was widely recommended on social media, particularly by readers on platforms like Goodreads, which helped amplify her reach. Hoover's ability to write stories that connected so deeply with readers was the key to her success, and it was clear that she had a unique voice in the literary world. While Hopeless was still self-published, its success caught the attention of major publishing houses. In 2013, Hoover signed a deal with Atria Books, a division of Simon & Schuster, to publish her subsequent novels. This was a significant turning point in her career, as it marked her transition from a self-published author to a traditionally published one. However, even with the switch, Hoover remained committed to maintaining the authenticity and direct connection with her readers that had been crucial to her rise to fame. After her initial success with self-publishing Slammed and Hopeless, Colleen Hoover's rise to fame was swift and remarkable. Her ability to write emotionally powerful stories that connected with readers on a deep level helped her carve a niche in the world of contemporary romance and new adult fiction. Hoover's novels were characterized by their raw emotion, complex characters, and their unflinching approach to difficult topics such as abuse, mental illness, and the intricacies of relationships. By 2013, after signing with Atria Books, Hoover had transitioned from being a self-published author to a best-selling writer in the traditional publishing world. Her subsequent books, such as Maybe Someday, 2014, and Ugly Love, 2014, solidified her reputation as one of the most popular contemporary romance authors of her generation. Each new release was met with anticipation, and her books quickly became fixtures on bestseller lists. She built a devoted fan base that eagerly awaited every new novel, with readers praising her ability to blend heartache, hope, and healing in ways that felt genuine and relatable. Hoover's rise to fame was also marked by her engagement with fans on social media. Unlike many authors, she embraced the digital age and used platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook to connect directly with readers. This transparent relationship allowed her to cultivate a loyal following and establish a sense of community around her work. Hoover often interacted with readers about the characters and stories they loved, offering insights into her writing process and occasionally taking time to express her gratitude for their support. The growth of her fan base and the success of her books eventually led to widespread recognition. Colleen Hoover's name became synonymous with heartfelt storytelling and unapologetic emotional depth. Her books were no longer just bestsellers, they were cultural phenomena. Readers found her stories to be cathartic, and many cited her novels as life-changing. As her popularity grew, Hoover was invited to participate in book tours, conventions, and interviews, which further cemented her place in the literary world. As Colleen Hoover's career progressed, she expanded her writing beyond contemporary romance into other genres, including psychological thrillers, young adult fiction, and fantasy. This shift allowed Hoover to continue to challenge herself as an author and to reach even broader audiences. One of her notable works outside of her typical genre is Verity, 2018, a psychological thriller that took readers by surprise with its suspenseful plot and dark themes. Verity was a departure from the romance-driven stories for which Hoover had become known, but it was well received by both longtime fans and new readers. The novel, which follows a struggling writer who uncovers disturbing secrets about her new employer, was praised for its unexpected twists and gripping narrative. It marked a significant moment in Hoover's career, as it proved that she could write in multiple genres and still retain the emotional depth that made her books so impactful. In addition to Verity, Hoover also ventured into young adult fiction with All Your Perfects, 2018, and It Ends With Us, 2016, which explored themes of personal growth, abuse, and toxic relationships. Her ability to tackle difficult topics in a compassionate and sensitive manner continued to resonate with readers. With each new release, she continued to push boundaries and explore new themes and narrative structures, proving her versatility as a writer. Hoover's genre diversification not only expanded her literary portfolio, but also garnered her new audiences. Verity, in particular, was a game-changer, attracting readers who might not have been initially drawn to her romantic novels. The success of Verity opened doors for her in the thriller and suspense genres, and it helped establish Hoover as a versatile, multi-talented author capable of appealing to a wide range of readers. Colleen Hoover's career has had a significant impact on the literary world. She is credited with popularizing the new adult genre, a category of fiction that targets readers in their late teens and early 20s. Her books are known for their intense emotional arcs, strong character development, and the exploration of challenging, often taboo topics such as addiction, abuse, and mental health. Hoover's unflinching portrayal of these subjects has contributed to the broader conversation about these issues in literature and in society. Her novels are often praised for their ability to make readers feel deeply, whether it's through a heart-wrenching love story or a tale of personal triumph over adversity. Hoover's writing has struck a chord with readers of all ages, and her books continue to be discussed in book clubs, online communities, and on social media platforms. Many readers have shared personal stories of how Hoover's books help them heal or cope with difficult situations, and this connection with her audience has been a key part of her success. In addition to her readers' admiration, Colleen Hoover has received widespread recognition within the literary industry. She has won numerous awards, including the Goodreads Choice Award for Best Romance and Best Author. Her books consistently top bestseller lists, and she has achieved significant international success, with her novels being translated into multiple languages. Hoover's ability to cross genre boundaries while maintaining a strong emotional core has made her one of the most beloved and successful authors of her generation. Hoover's influence extends beyond her books. She has inspired a new generation of writers, many of whom cite her as a major influence. Her success as a self-published author has also encouraged other aspiring writers to take control of their own careers and consider self-publishing as a viable path to success. Hoover's story is one of persistence, creativity, and the power of connecting with readers on a personal level. As Colleen Hoover's career grew, so did her sense of responsibility to give back to the community. She has been involved in numerous charitable endeavors, particularly those related to mental health and domestic violence. In 2017, Hoover established the Colleen Hoover Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the lives of individuals affected by abuse, domestic violence, and mental health issues. The foundation provides financial support to victims of domestic violence, helps raise awareness about the impact of mental illness, and promotes literacy and education. Hoover's personal experience with the struggles her characters face has fueled her desire to make a tangible difference in the world. She often uses her platform to raise awareness about issues close to her heart, and her philanthropic efforts are a testament to her commitment to making a positive impact beyond the world of books. Hoover's generosity has earned her admiration from fans and peers alike, who see her as not only a talented writer, but also a compassionate individual dedicated to helping others. Her efforts to use her success for good have added another layer to her legacy, demonstrating that her influence extends far beyond the pages of her novels. Colleen Hoover's debut novel, Slammed, was a game-changer in her career. The story centers around Laken, a young woman who moves with her mother and younger brother to Michigan after the death of her father. Upon arriving in her new town, she meets Will, a talented slam poet who becomes the object of her affection. However, their budding romance faces numerous obstacles, including the discovery that Will is her new neighbor and a devastating family secret. Slammed was a groundbreaking novel in the new adult genre, a category that blends the emotional intensity of young adult YA with the more mature themes of adult fiction. Hoover's portrayal of the grief Laken feels after losing her father resonated with many readers who had experienced similar losses. The novel also tackled the complexities of first love, family dynamics, and personal growth. It also introduced readers to the concept of slam poetry as a form of emotional expression, which became a key thematic element in the book. One of the reasons Slammed gained traction was Hoover's ability to make the characters and their emotions feel so real. Her writing was raw and relatable, capturing the intensity of young love while also addressing themes like loss and healing. This ability to blend emotion with engaging storytelling set Hoover apart from other writers in the genre and marked her as a rising star. The novel's success helped establish Hoover as a prominent author within the new adult genre. It also set the tone for the types of stories she would continue to tell, stories about overcoming personal hardship, finding love, and the power of emotional expression. Following the success of Slammed, Colleen Hoover released Hopeless in the same year. This novel delves deeper into themes of trauma, healing, and the complexity of relationships. It follows Skye, a teenager who has lived a sheltered life with her adoptive mother. When she meets Holder, a troubled boy with a mysterious past, their connection becomes intense and immediate. However, as their relationship develops, Skye uncovers startling truths about her past and must face the emotional fallout of those revelations. Hopeless stands out for its honest exploration of difficult topics, particularly abuse, forgiveness, and the emotional scars of the past. Hoover took a bold step in addressing the trauma of abuse in a nuanced and respectful manner, providing readers with a cathartic experience. The novel received critical acclaim for its emotional depth and raw portrayal of characters who grapple with their pasts in order to heal and move forward. This book solidified Hoover's reputation as a writer who wasn't afraid to tackle challenging and sensitive topics. It also introduced readers to the theme of self-discovery, as Skye embarks on a journey to reconcile with her past while navigating her complex relationship with Holder. Hopeless was another bestseller and proved that Hoover's success wasn't just a flash in the pan, it was the beginning of a lasting career. Maybe Someday is another fan favorite from Colleen Hoover, and it marked a departure from her earlier works in terms of its use of music. The novel follows Sydney, a young woman who discovers her boyfriend's infidelity and becomes emotionally involved with her musician neighbor, Rich. As the relationship between Sydney and Ridge deepens, the novel explores the emotional and moral complexities of love, loyalty, and forgiveness. One of the standout features of Maybe Someday was Hoover's incorporation of music into the story. The book was accompanied by an original soundtrack, with songs written specifically for the novel by musician Griffin Peterson. This innovative use of music gave the novel an added layer of emotional resonance, and it further solidified Hoover's ability to create multi-dimensional storytelling experiences. The music became almost a character in itself, underscoring the emotions of the characters and enhancing the overall experience for readers. Maybe Someday received widespread praise for its unique concept and its exploration of complex relationships. It also garnered Hoover new fans who were drawn to the novel's fusion of music, romance, and emotional depth. The success of Maybe Someday proved that Hoover was capable of experimenting with new storytelling techniques while still maintaining the core elements of her writing that made her so beloved. Released in the same year as Maybe Someday, Ugly Love is perhaps one of Colleen Hoover's most iconic and emotionally charged novels. The story centers around Tate, a young woman who falls in love with Miles, a man with a dark past that makes him emotionally unavailable. The novel alternates between Tate's perspective in the present and flashbacks to Miles' past, which slowly reveal the reasons behind his emotional baggage. Ugly Love is known for its unflinching portrayal of love and loss. The relationship between Tate and Miles is complicated by Miles' refusal to open up about his past, and the novel explores the emotional toll that keeping secrets can have on relationships. Hoover's writing in this novel is raw and intense, and the book has been praised for its honest depiction of the pain that comes with unspoken trauma and love. The novel's tagline, "Love is Ugly," encapsulates the book's central message. Love is not always a fairy tale, and sometimes it involves heartache, misunderstanding, and self-discovery. Ugly Love was another bestseller and became a fan favorite, with readers praising Hoover for her ability to write such an emotionally complex and deeply affecting story. The novel's success helped Hoover further establish herself as a master of contemporary romance, capable of blending deep emotional complexity with compelling characters. It Ends With Us is one of Colleen Hoover's most groundbreaking and powerful works. The novel tells the story of Lily Bloom, a young woman who falls in love with Ryle Kincaid, a charming neurosurgeon. However, as their relationship develops, Lily is forced to confront the complex realities of domestic abuse. The novel is a deeply personal one for Hoover, as it is inspired by her own experiences and her desire to raise awareness about the realities of abusive relationships. It Ends With Us has been praised for its sensitive and unflinching portrayal of domestic violence. The novel does not shy away from the complexities of abusive relationships, highlighting the emotional and psychological toll that abuse takes on its victims. Hoover's writing in this book is raw, heart-wrenching, and ultimately empowering as Lily navigates her relationship with Ryle and her complicated past with her abusive father. The novel was met with critical acclaim, and it has since become a bestseller, gaining a strong following among readers. It was also recognized for its social impact, as it sparked conversations about domestic abuse and helped raise awareness about the topic. It Ends With Us is a testament to Hoover's ability to write about difficult subjects with compassion and authenticity, and it remains one of her most influential works. In 2018, Colleen Hoover took a dramatic turn in her writing career with Verity, a psychological thriller that captivated readers with its dark twists and suspenseful plot. The novel follows Loan, a struggling writer who is hired to finish a book series for a best-selling author named Verity Crawford. As Loan goes through Verity's journals, she uncovers chilling secrets that challenge her understanding of truth and morality. Verity was a departure from Hoover's usual romance-centered stories, and it received widespread acclaim for its unpredictable plot and intense suspense. The novel's gripping narrative and dark themes demonstrated Hoover's versatility as an author, showcasing her ability to work in genres beyond contemporary romance. Verity was a massive success and became one of Hoover's best-selling novels, further solidifying her place in the literary world. Colleen Hoover's influence on the literary world has been profound, particularly in the realm of contemporary romance and new adult fiction. When Hoover first began self-publishing, she was part of a growing wave of authors who were using digital platforms to bypass traditional publishing routes. Her success helped to redefine what was possible for self-published authors, demonstrating that it was possible to achieve widespread recognition, financial success, and critical acclaim without the backing of a traditional publishing house. Hoover's impact on the new adult genre is particularly notable. This subgenre, which typically focuses on characters in their late teens to mid-20s, often deals with themes like coming of age, identity, and navigating complicated relationships. Hoover was one of the pioneers of new adult fiction, helping to bring it into the mainstream. Her books, with their emotional depth, focus on personal growth, and exploration of tough topics, resonated deeply with readers, particularly young adults and those in their 20s. Her writing also pushed boundaries within the romance genre. Hoover's works are not typical romance novels. They are often layered with complex, real-world issues such as grief, trauma, addiction, and mental health. This has allowed her to attract a wide audience, from fans of contemporary romance to readers interested in more serious and thought-provoking themes. Hoover's ability to tackle such heavy topics while still creating relatable, deeply human characters has made her a unique voice in the genre. Her success has also influenced a generation of authors. Many contemporary romance and new adult writers cite Hoover as a major influence, particularly for her willingness to blend emotional intensity with relatable, often complex characters. Her story has become a blueprint for aspiring authors, showing them that it is possible to succeed through a combination of authenticity, social media engagement, and emotional storytelling. Hoover's self-publishing journey has become a case study in how authors can take control of their careers and reach global audiences through platforms like Amazon. One of the defining aspects of Colleen Hoover's career has been her ability to build a passionate and dedicated fan community. From the very beginning of her career, Hoover made a point of engaging directly with her readers, responding to their comments, and making them feel like they were part of her journey. Her presence on social media platforms such as Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook has been a key factor in her rise to fame, as it allowed her to connect with readers in ways that many other authors couldn't. Hoover's relationship with her fans is built on a foundation of authenticity. She often shares personal stories, her struggles, and her triumphs with her followers, which has helped create a sense of intimacy between her and her readers. She has frequently mentioned how much she values the support and love she receives from her fans and how their feedback influences her work. The fan community surrounding Hoover's books is also incredibly active. Readers often organize book clubs, fan events, and online discussions centered around her novels. The widespread enthusiasm for her books is evident in the massive online conversations that take place whenever a new release is announced. Readers form strong emotional connections to her characters and often discuss the impact that Hoover's work has had on their lives. In particular, Hoover's books have become a source of comfort and catharsis for many readers who have experienced difficult or traumatic life events. It Ends With Us, in particular, sparked important conversations around domestic abuse, and many readers have shared their personal stories of how Hoover's portrayal of an abusive relationship helped them better understand their own experiences or find the courage to leave toxic situations. Hoover's ability to create this sense of community among her readers has turned her from just a best-selling author into a cultural figure with a devoted following. Her fan engagement has proven that authors can build loyal audiences by fostering genuine connections and encouraging open, supportive conversations about the themes her books explore. As her career blossomed, Colleen Hoover became increasingly involved in philanthropic work. She has used her platform and her success to make a difference in the world, particularly in the areas of mental health and domestic violence. In 2017, Hoover launched the Colleen Hoover Foundation, a nonprofit organization with a mission to provide financial assistance to victims of domestic abuse, support literacy programs, and raise awareness about mental health issues. One of the foundation's key initiatives is to provide grants to organizations that help those affected by domestic violence. Hoover's personal experiences and her connection to the themes she explores in her books, especially in It Ends With Us, have deeply influenced her commitment to this cause. The foundation works closely with shelters, advocacy groups, and other organizations to provide support for those in need, and Hoover has used her own experiences as a platform to raise awareness about the realities of domestic abuse. Beyond her foundation, Hoover is also known for her generosity in other ways. She has organized charity auctions, made personal donations, and used her books to raise awareness for important causes. For example, she has donated portions of her book sales to support mental health initiatives and to assist victims of natural disasters. Hoover's commitment to giving back has endeared her even further to her fans, who admire not only her literary talent, but also her genuine desire to make the world a better place. Colleen Hoover's success story has been a major source of inspiration for countless aspiring writers. Her journey from self-published author to best-selling sensation has demonstrated the power of determination, hard work, and a deep connection with readers. Her ability to navigate both the self-publishing and traditional publishing landscapes has given hope to authors who are looking to carve out their own path in the literary world. Many authors in the new adult and romance genres look to Hoover as a model of what can be achieved through self-publishing, social media engagement, and creating authentic, heartfelt stories. Her early decision to self-publish, combined with her later success with traditional publishing, has shown writers that there are multiple avenues to success in today's literary world. Hoover's emphasis on building a strong fan community, understanding the needs and desires of readers, and staying true to one's own voice has helped shape a new generation of authors who are eager to follow in her footsteps. Additionally, Hoover's openness about her personal struggles and her willingness to tackle difficult topics in her books has inspired many writers to take risks and explore themes that are often considered taboo. Her work encourages writers to be bold, to challenge conventions, and to write stories that matter. Colleen Hoover's cultural legacy is one that extends far beyond the pages of her books. She has become a symbol of perseverance, authenticity, and the power of storytelling. Her work has touched millions of readers worldwide, and her ability to capture raw emotions, complicated relationships, and universal struggles has left a lasting impact on contemporary literature. As an author who writes with empathy and courage, Hoover has helped normalize conversations around difficult subjects such as abuse, addiction, mental health, and trauma. Her books have not only entertained readers, but also empowered them to confront their own emotional challenges and navigate complex life situations. Through her writing, she has created a space where readers can feel seen, heard, and understood. Furthermore, Hoover's philanthropic efforts and her role in building a supportive and connected community of readers have elevated her legacy. She is seen as a writer who has used her success to make a positive difference in the world, whether by supporting victims of domestic violence or raising awareness for mental health causes. Her influence on both the literary world and society at large is undeniable, and her impact will be felt for years to come. Colleen Hoover was born on December 11th, 1979, in Sulphur Springs, Texas. Growing up in a small town, Hoover's early life was marked by the simplicity of rural living. She was raised in a close-knit family where values like love, resilience, and hard work were emphasized. Hoover's parents were supportive of her educational and creative pursuits, though her early years did not immediately suggest she would one day become a best-selling author. In fact, Hoover's decision to pursue writing came later in her life, after a series of different career choices. Hoover has often reflected on how her family shaped her, and her stories are frequently imbued with themes of familial love, loss, and the emotional connections that bind people together. These themes are central to many of her books, where family dynamics, especially complex and strained relationships, play a significant role. Her depiction of the relationships between parents and children, siblings, and even between romantic partners often mirrors her own understanding of the importance of family. Though Hoover has been relatively private about her personal life, she has shared insights into her upbringing and how it informed her writing. Her experiences growing up in Texas, the emotional bond she shares with her family, and the values instilled in her during childhood continue to resonate in her work, even as her career has expanded beyond her home state. Relationship with her husband and family life. Colleen Hoover is married to her high school sweetheart, William Hoover. They have been together for many years, and their relationship has been a central part of Colleen's personal life. They share 3 sons together, and Hoover has mentioned in interviews that her family is one of her greatest sources of inspiration and support. Hoover's portrayal of relationships in her books often draws on the strength and challenges she has experienced in her own marriage. Her works explore the complexities of love, partnership, and loyalty, which reflect the values Hoover holds dear in her personal life. Though she writes about intense relationships, often filled with emotional turmoil and personal conflict, she has emphasized that she believes in the power of love and resilience. In her public statements, Hoover has praised her husband for being a source of emotional strength, often crediting him for helping her through difficult times, including the challenging early years of her writing career. She has also shared how their family life influences her writing process, with her children offering both practical inspiration and emotional grounding. Through her social media platforms, Hoover often shares glimpses into her life with her family, posting pictures and updates about her kids, her husband, and the joy she finds in her personal life. These glimpses into her home life have only deepened her connection with readers, who view Hoover as not just an author, but as someone they can relate to on a personal level. Colleen Hoover's writing process has been a topic of much curiosity among her fans and aspiring writers. Hoover has openly discussed how she often writes from a place of deep emotion and personal experience. While her works of fiction are not autobiographical, many of the themes and emotions that surface in her books stem from Hoover's own life experiences, particularly her struggles with personal loss, relationships, and emotional growth. One of Hoover's core writing philosophies is to create characters that are authentic and deeply human. She has mentioned that she doesn't strive for perfection in her characters, but instead focuses on making them feel real, with all their flaws, imperfections, and struggles. This approach allows readers to connect with the characters on a more personal level, often seeing parts of themselves reflected in the fictional lives Hoover crafts. Hoover also emphasizes the importance of emotional resonance in her writing. She has often said that her goal is to make her readers feel deeply, whether it's through the pain and heartache of a breakup or the joy of finding love. For Hoover, the emotional journey is at the heart of storytelling. She writes to make readers feel seen, heard, and understood, particularly in relation to the complex emotions that come with love, loss, and personal transformation. In terms of her writing schedule, Hoover has shared that she doesn't follow a strict routine. She often writes when inspiration strikes, which means she can write at odd hours of the day or night. This spontaneous approach to writing allows her to stay in touch with her emotions and intuition, ensuring that her stories remain fresh and heartfelt. She has also spoken about the importance of persistence in her career. Despite facing numerous setbacks early on, including challenges with self-publishing and the struggles of breaking into a competitive market, Hoover's persistence has been a key element of her success. She has encouraged aspiring authors to keep writing, even when faced with rejection or doubt. Her message to new writers is clear: success comes from hard work, resilience, and believing in your voice. Colleen Hoover's personal beliefs and values play an important role in both her writing and her public life. As a writer who has explored themes of abuse, mental health, and trauma, Hoover is deeply committed to raising awareness around these issues. Her experiences in Writing It Ends With Us, for example, were influenced by her desire to help others understand the complexities of abusive relationships. Hoover's personal beliefs about love, healing, and personal growth are woven into the fabric of her books, which often show characters navigating difficult paths towards self-discovery and emotional recovery. Hoover is also a strong advocate for mental health awareness. Many of her novels touch on the struggles of dealing with mental health issues, and she has been open about her own challenges with anxiety. In interviews, Hoover has discussed how writing has served as a therapeutic outlet for her, helping her process her emotions and cope with the stress of daily life. By openly discussing mental health and encouraging conversations about emotional well-being, Hoover has helped to reduce stigma and promote a more open and accepting dialogue around mental health. Another core value for Hoover is the importance of family and community. In her personal life, she values close relationships with her family, and her books often reflect the importance of familial bonds, whether biological or chosen. Her relationships with her husband, children, and extended family are a source of inspiration and grounding, and she often credits her family as the reason she is able to write and pursue her career with confidence. Finally, Hoover has been a vocal advocate for self-empowerment, particularly for women. She encourages women to take control of their own stories and lives, emphasizing that it's never too late to start something new. This message of empowerment is reflected in the strong, resilient female protagonists that populate her novels, characters who grow, learn, and evolve through their challenges. Colleen Hoover's public persona is one that emphasizes authenticity, relatability, and accessibility. She is not a distant figure, but rather a writer who connects with her readers on a personal level. Through her active social media presence, Hoover has created a community where fans can engage with her directly, ask questions, and share their own stories. She often uses her platforms to discuss not just her writing but her personal life, struggles, and joys, offering a candid look into the life of a best-selling author. Fans of Hoover admire her for her down-to-earth personality and her willingness to share the highs and lows of her career. She has been open about the challenges she has faced, both professionally and personally, which has made her all the more relatable to her readers. Hoover's transparency has helped her build a loyal and supportive fanbase, who view her as more than just an author. They see her as someone who understands them and shares in their experiences. At book events, Hoover's genuine connection with her fans is evident. She takes the time to interact with readers, listen to their stories, and sign books with personal messages. This engagement has helped her cultivate a sense of community among her fans, many of whom feel personally invested in her success. Colleen Hoover's journey to success was not without its challenges. As she began self-publishing her novels, particularly her breakout book Slammed, Hoover faced significant criticism from some corners of the literary community. In the early stages of her career, there was skepticism surrounding the success of self-published authors, and many critics questioned the literary quality of self-published books. Self-published authors were often dismissed as amateurs who lacked the rigorous editing and quality control associated with traditional publishing houses. Hoover, however, quickly proved her critics wrong. Her writing resonated with a wide audience, and her books soared in popularity despite the early doubts. Nevertheless, Hoover faced the typical hurdles of a self-published author, including being dismissed by some mainstream reviewers and struggling to gain respect from traditional publishing professionals. Even as her books began to make waves, Hoover was not immune to the broader critique of the new adult genre, which she helped to popularize. New adult fiction, with its focus on young adult characters navigating intense emotional and romantic situations, was often dismissed as frivolous or overly melodramatic. Critics of the genre sometimes mocked its over-the-top themes and characters, and Hoover's works were sometimes lumped into this criticism. Despite these early challenges, Hoover's persistence and dedication to her craft helped her to rise above the criticism. Her focus on character-driven, emotional storytelling and her willingness to address complex issues such as domestic abuse, addiction, and mental health helped establish her as a serious and respected voice in contemporary fiction. One of the most consistent sources of criticism of Colleen Hoover's work revolves around the heavy themes and content in her novels, especially her treatment of difficult and often controversial subjects such as abuse, addiction, and trauma. Some critics have argued that Hoover's portrayal of certain issues can be problematic or overly sensationalized. For example, in her best-selling novel It Ends With Us, Hoover tackles the sensitive subject of domestic abuse. While the book was praised for its portrayal of the complexities of abusive relationships, some critics felt that Hoover's handling of the subject was either too simplistic or sensationalized, particularly in how the book ends. The romanticizing of abuse or toxic relationships in fiction is a sensitive subject, and Hoover's books have been accused by some of depicting unhealthy relationships in a way that might confuse or mislead readers. It Ends With Us has been both lauded for its honest depiction of the cycles of abuse and criticized for potentially normalizing abusive dynamics through its romantic undertones. Similarly, Hoover's portrayal of characters dealing with addiction, mental health struggles, and grief has at times drawn criticism for either oversimplifying or sensationalizing complex issues. Some readers and critics feel that while Hoover's novels make these topics accessible to a wider audience, they do not always explore the full depth of the issues, or may fail to present them in a way that feels fully responsible or nuanced. In her defense, Hoover has repeatedly stated that her aim is not to trivialize difficult topics, but rather to create stories that bring attention to these issues in a way that opens up important conversations. Her focus on portraying the emotional journeys of her characters, often dealing with pain, loss, and healing, has been a defining feature of her work, but it has also led to criticism from some who feel that these sensitive issues require more careful and nuanced exploration. One of the most significant controversies surrounding Colleen Hoover's work involves accusations of romanticizing toxic or abusive relationships. The central relationship in It Ends With Us, for example, has sparked debate among readers and critics alike. Some fans and advocates have argued that Hoover does an excellent job of depicting the complexity and difficulty of leaving an abusive partner. However, others have expressed concern that the book's portrayal of the relationship may inadvertently romanticize the very dynamics it seeks to condemn. In particular, the character of Ryle Kincaid, the abusive love interest in It Ends With Us, has been a point of contention. While Hoover clearly illustrates the damaging nature of his behavior and the emotional toll it takes on Lily Bloom, the protagonist, some readers have felt that the book's portrayal of Ryle's occasional kindness and vulnerability could be interpreted as an attempt to make his actions more forgivable or understandable. This has led to concerns about the potential for readers, especially those unfamiliar with abusive relationships, to misinterpret the message of the book. Hoover has responded to this criticism by emphasizing that her goal was to show the complexity of abusive relationships, rather than condoning or romanticizing them. She has also noted that the novel is a reflection of her desire to raise awareness about domestic violence and provide a window into the emotional turmoil and difficulty of leaving an abusive partner. This controversy has been especially relevant given Hoover's large readership, many of whom are young women. Critics worry that the romanticizing of toxic relationships in popular fiction can send the wrong message, potentially normalizing abusive behavior or encouraging readers to stay in unhealthy relationships in the hopes that they will eventually improve. Another common form of criticism directed at Colleen Hoover's work pertains to her writing style. Some literary critics and readers have found Hoover's prose to be overly simplistic or formulaic, with certain elements of her writing appearing to be geared toward mass appeal rather than literary depth. In particular, Hoover's heavy reliance on dialogue and accessible language, while making her books approachable for a wide audience, has been critiqued as lacking the complexity and sophistication found in other contemporary literary works. While Hoover's style is often lauded for its emotional impact and accessibility, critics who prefer more traditional, complex prose may find her style too straightforward or lacking in literary merit. This has been especially true for critics who favor more polished, literary novels that focus on style, symbolism, and intricate plots. However, Hoover's fans would argue that her writing is meant to connect with readers emotionally rather than to showcase literary flair. Hoover has often spoken about the importance of making her stories feel personal and intimate, and many of her readers appreciate the directness and relatability of her voice. For Hoover, the emotional resonance of her stories is far more important than stylistic complexity. As Hoover's popularity grew, so did her presence on social media, which has sometimes led to public controversies. On platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, Hoover has engaged in direct conversations with her fans, but this visibility has also exposed her to criticism and backlash. Some fans have criticized Hoover for her responses to negative reviews or her outspoken opinions on certain topics. In particular, Hoover has been involved in a few public disagreements with readers who have voiced dissatisfaction with her books. She has been accused by some of being defensive or dismissive of criticism, and at times, her responses on social media have been perceived as overly combative. These public exchanges have, at times, ignited further debates about the relationship between authors and their readers, particularly in an age where social media allows for instant and unfiltered communication between the two. However, Hoover's supporters argue that she is simply defending her work and that her directness is a reflection of her personality. Her social media presence, while at times controversial, has been a key part of her brand and a way for her to connect with her audience in a way that many other authors do not. Colleen Hoover's career is a testament to the power of perseverance, creativity, and emotional storytelling. From self-publishing her debut novel Slammed to becoming one of the most successful and influential authors of contemporary fiction, Hoover's journey has been remarkable. Her books, characterized by their deep emotional resonance, complex characters, and exploration of difficult topics, have resonated with millions of readers worldwide. Hoover's impact on the new adult genre, and more broadly on the world of contemporary romance, cannot be overstated. She is credited with helping to popularize new adult fiction, a genre that focuses on the transitional period between adolescence and adulthood and explores themes such as personal identity, love, and self-discovery. Through her exploration of difficult themes such as mental health, abuse, addiction, and trauma, Hoover has introduced her readers to complex issues that are often underrepresented in mainstream literature. Her works have sparked conversation and brought attention to critical social issues, including domestic violence and mental health struggles. Throughout her career, Hoover has consistently been recognized for her ability to connect with readers on a deeply personal level. Her books have received widespread commercial success, with several titles appearing on bestseller lists, including It Ends With Us, Verity, November 9th, and Confess. Her ability to evoke strong emotional responses from readers has earned her a dedicated fan base, many of whom identify with the characters and themes she explores in her novels. In addition to her literary success, Hoover has ventured into other creative outlets, including music, art, and public speaking. She has used her platform to advocate for causes close to her heart, such as mental health awareness, domestic violence prevention, and support for independent authors. Colleen Hoover's legacy extends beyond her impressive sales numbers and social media following. Her books have redefined what it means to write emotional, character-driven fiction, and she has inspired countless aspiring authors to pursue their writing dreams. Through her self-publishing success, Hoover has demonstrated that it is possible to thrive in the publishing world without the backing of a major publishing house. She has shown that an author's voice and the emotional connection with readers can be just as important, if not more so, than critical acclaim. In many ways, Hoover's influence on the literary world is part of a larger shift in how books are marketed and consumed. Her rise to fame is emblematic of the changing landscape of publishing, where social media plays a crucial role in building an author's platform, and readers have more power than ever in determining which books rise to the top. Hoover's success has paved the way for other self-published and independent authors to find an audience, and she has become a role model for writers seeking to build a career through direct engagement with their readers. Hoover's books have also had a profound influence on the romance genre, particularly in how contemporary romance is portrayed. While traditional romance often focuses on escapism and idealized relationships, Hoover's novels tackle real-world issues and complexities. She has demonstrated that romance can be both compelling and thought-provoking, with characters who are not just seeking perfect love, but navigating imperfect lives. By incorporating themes of personal growth, trauma, and emotional healing, Hoover has raised the bar for what romance literature can accomplish in terms of emotional depth and social relevance. Looking ahead, Colleen Hoover shows no signs of slowing down. Her ability to continually innovate and evolve as a writer is one of the reasons why she remains a dominant figure in contemporary fiction. Hoover has expressed interest in exploring new genres and experimenting with different storytelling formats, indicating that her creative output is far from reaching its peak. Fans of her work eagerly await each new release, whether it is a novel, a short story, or a non-fiction project. One area where Hoover may continue to expand is in her exploration of psychological thrillers, as seen in her 2018 novel Verity. The book marked a departure from her typical romance-focused stories, and its success could lead Hoover to pursue more works in this genre. Verity was praised for its dark, suspenseful narrative and twist ending, showing that Hoover is capable of tackling a wider range of genres beyond romance. Hoover has also hinted at plans for more adaptations of her books into film or television. It Ends With Us has already been optioned for a movie, and Hoover has expressed excitement about the possibility of seeing her characters brought to life on screen. The success of Verity, which was announced as being adapted into a film as well, suggests that Hoover's influence in Hollywood may continue to grow in the coming years. As she continues to build on her career, Hoover remains committed to the causes that are important to her. She has already used her platform to raise awareness for mental health, domestic violence, and the importance of self-empowerment. It is likely that these themes will continue to be present in her future works, as Hoover has expressed a strong desire to contribute positively to social causes through her writing. Colleen Hoover's impact on her readers, particularly young adults, is undeniable. Her stories have resonated deeply with a generation that is looking for books that speak to their own emotional experiences. Hoover's portrayal of love, loss, grief, and personal growth has touched countless readers, helping them feel seen and understood. Many fans have shared how her books have been a source of comfort during difficult times, and how they have inspired them to be more open about their own struggles. Her relatability and ability to write characters who deal with real-world issues has made her a powerful voice for young people navigating their own emotional journeys. Hoover's books have become a sort of guide for many readers, showing them that healing and growth are possible even in the face of hardship. As new generations of readers discover her work, Hoover's books will likely continue to serve as an emotional refuge for many, offering stories of resilience and hope. Furthermore, Hoover's connection with her fans goes beyond just the pages of her books. Through social media and her active engagement with readers, Hoover has cultivated a sense of community among her followers. Her openness about her personal life and struggles has made her more than just an author. She is a mentor, a source of inspiration, and a friend to many. This deep connection with her readers is something that sets her apart and is a key part of her lasting influence. From humble beginnings as a self-published author to her rise as one of the most successful and influential writers in contemporary fiction, Colleen Hoover's journey is a remarkable story of creativity, resilience, and emotional storytelling. She has redefined what it means to be a best-selling author, and her ability to connect with readers on a deep emotional level has set her apart from other writers in the genre. Colleen Hoover's legacy will undoubtedly endure for years to come. Her influence on the romance genre, her advocacy for important social causes, and her ability to inspire readers to embrace vulnerability and personal growth will continue to shape the literary world. Hoover's journey serves as a testament to the power of storytelling, the importance of authenticity, and the profound impact that a single author can have on the lives of millions. As she continues to write and evolve as a creator, Hoover's future in the literary world looks bright. Her work will undoubtedly inspire new generations of readers and writers alike, and her continued success will serve as a beacon for anyone seeking to make their mark on the world through the written word.